Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Light Within the Unknown podcast. I'm Brandon,
Hi, I'm Linda.
and for this episode, we are going to be talking about Linda's Vermont trip. She went up to Wilson Castle about a month ago, and she was like explaining about her finding these cool, awesome spots to check out while she was up there as well. So, I figured give her an episode to discuss some of the stuff with the listeners and the viewers of some other things to do if you make the trip up to Wilson Castle for things for you to see, do that, or like maybe sidetracks, like a little detour along those lines. So, Linda, you could take it away.
Thanks. Yeah, we were up at Wilson Castle in May. We went up last year in June, and it was hot as you know what. So, figure we can try a different month this time. And it wasn't hot, it was a little on the chillier side, but I would take that over the heat. I did not get a chance to go through the evidence yet, so I don't know exactly what we have caught. But if you go onto the Dixieland page, you can find videos that were either lives or just videos that we took and I posted later. We did have a lot of flashlight activity up in the second floor main area where the pool table is. We found out that it was confirmed that we were talking to Sarah. I believe her name is Johnson. So her family was one of the owners before the Wilsons. She was on demand with the flashlights. That I believe is a video up on the page. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the regular platforms. Yeah, she was killing the flashlight. She also activated the Periscope 360, which I call the stick lights, and our Mel meter was going off. We were up there for a while. I still have to go over the video from the video cameras that we had that were not producing anything live or anything like that. And Tim set them up, so hopefully he got some good evidence with them, because they should have captured the stick lights, the Periscope 360. We also had some activity. We were able to investigate the third floor this time because it wasn't hot up there. It was actually nice. And Andy was also talking about this on an earlier episode of the podcast where he was turning off the candle lights up there and he just felt uneasy. And he was telling us about this before we started our investigation. So we made it a point to go upstairs on the third floor in the attic, and we were by the coffin that was there for decoration but holds a lot of energy. And we felt this heavy presence also. It was just a weird feeling up there. And then it was dark, obviously, because at this point it was nighttime. I think it was around like 9:30ish, between 9 and 10, I guess. And it just got super dark and just creepy. And it was only Tim and I that were investigating. And then all of a sudden we heard this heavy, like, booted footstep that was pretty close to us. And again, you can catch this on our pages. That should be up there from the other videos, because we were live at that point. So the video won't obviously be live. It'll be pre-recorded at this point. But you can go back and listen and watch that. We also had an instance where I wonder, I'm trying to put those two videos together. So it may or may not still be up on Facebook, because Facebook is deleting the live videos after 30 days. but I'm putting these two videos together, and I haven't done that yet, where we were up in the attic. We were talking about how this presence is here and is kind of creeping us out. And then we do have a car come down the driveway. So you'll hear Tim and I kind of flip out because nobody else is supposed to be at the castle. It's only us two. So you'll hear me say, okay, we have to end the live. As I'm going down the steps, the live is still going. So you'll hear my reaction. Oh shit, we're still live. I do turn off the live at that point. Everything was fine. It was another coworker of the castle that was known to the castle, just wasn't really supposed to be there that night. He came back to get something. Didn't know he was coming back to get something. Figured it all out, called Andy. Everything was fine. So when I do put these two videos together, when we come back on, we do go back upstairs. And I do reiterate that everything was fine. We're both alive. There's no issue. Just a slight misunderstanding that he didn't realize somebody was there investigating. But then after that whole incident, the attic was very different. So I don't know if we scared that spirit because he was no longer there. I don't know if us kind of like, oh crap, who's coming? Is it the cops because they see flashlights going on? Because there are still some lights on, but then upstairs in the attic, you'll see our flashlights, and the cops do patrol the street. So we're thinking, okay, is it a cop? I know nobody was piggybacking us being live, so I wasn't really concerned about that. Or is it just, people just coming up to see what was going on? But everything was fine. But when we went back upstairs, the whole atmosphere was totally different. We did have the recorder running still through that whole ordeal. We did have the video camera running that whole time. So I have to go back over and see if we caught anything audio, video wise. But I'm thinking we kind of scared that spirit because he did not make a peep the rest of the time we were up there.
I just find it wild that this happens the time I'm not up there with you guys, or the time when Alexis isn't up there with you guys. It's just you and Timmy. I just find that just wild because it's like, just leave it to y'all for that to happen to you guys.
I mean, but last time when we were there, we had the bat. We didn't have bats this time inside. We had a person.
I'm glad to hear though. I'm glad to hear though that everything was good in that sense, and nothing was really spiraling in any other direction. Because I would be like, oh crap! I would be like, oh Linda, what did you do? Why can't we go back here?
Yeah, we're still invited back. After we got downstairs and we realized that there is a car parked outside, I called Andy, who's the caretaker, and I was like, hey, somebody's here, a living person. Not sure who it is. Don't know. I don't know what to do. Should I call the cops? And he's like, well, is the kitchen door locked? So I go, and I was like, yeah, the kitchen door's locked. I made sure the kitchen door's locked. And he was like, okay, well, that's the only way they can get in. So I'm on the phone with him. I go back to the kitchen where we have all of our equipment, our setup. And I'm like, oh, crap. It's unlocked. I'm like, Andy, I know we locked this. Timmy and I both double checked. And he's like, okay. So we go, I'm coming back out of the kitchen, but then I stop and Tim's behind me and I'm still on the phone with Andy, and poor Andy, because then this guy comes out of this utility closet and I scream right in Andy's ear because I have the phone up and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it was a literal scream. All girl scream. And he's like, the guy's name's John, and he's another caretaker of the castle. And he's like, "Oh, hi." And I'm like, "Oh,
Oh, that's
no."
priceless.
So Andy's still on the phone. We clear that up. Everything's good to go. But I do have to say, the 2 times I have screamed in my life, it has been because of the living. 2 times I have screamed during an investigation in my whole entire years of investigating. It's because of the living, not the spirits.
True, very true.
So, yes, but I think we scared the spirit because, like I said, when we went back upstairs, it it was all quiet. He was nowhere to be found, and I think it's just the spirit that watches the castle. Not quite sure who he is, if he's a family member that used to live at the castle or if he's just a watcher. But I think we scared the crap out of him
I think so
because
too by the sound of it. I mean, I think especially if you're yelling or screaming because of not knowing what's there. Yeah, pretty sure the spirit was like, "Yeah, I'm done for the night.
these people are crazy. They can take care of themselves.
Yep.
And
They don't need us anymore at the moment."
when we went back upstairs, I was kind of joking around with like this spirit that we didn't feel any longer, but obviously I'm sure he was still in the house somewhere. And we're like, "Hey, I don't know your name, Mr. Spirit. We knew it was male." And I'm like, "If you're supposed to be the watcher of this castle, why didn't you tell us that it was just John? You know who this person is. He works here. You've seen him. If you're the protector of the castle, the watcher of the castle, why didn't
that?
you?" Huh?
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
It sounded like a dog.
A dog?
Yeah. It sounded like a really, really, really loud dog, like barking, like vicious for a second. At least that's what sounded like over on my end.
My dog's sound asleep.
Yeah, my dog's not in the room. My dog's downstairs, locked up. That was weird.
Not a clue.
Anyway, okay, so
Yeah, I was joking around with the spirit, and like I said, I haven't listened to see. I'm really hoping he answered me, whether it be serious, sarcastic. I don't care. But I'm really hoping I got a reaction out of him claiming that, he's the watcher. He makes people feel intimidated, yet we obviously scared him because of our craziness. But I was like, you're the watcher. Where were you? You weren't protecting this castle. You knew who this person was. You didn't let us know that, it was safe.
He ran off.
And
Like, nope, not today.
and we could have like grabbed something to use as protection, thinking, somebody's trying to break in. But all was well at the end. But yeah, we had some flashlight activity, REM pod, Periscope 360, Melmeter. I'm trying to think of what else we used. Timmy did feel Lois again, but she stayed with him all night, but kind of didn't interact too much. But she never left his side again. But I don't know if that was because Sarah was so dominant this time. Like the last time, I don't know if we actually got confirmation we were talking to Sarah. I know Lois was pretty dominant with Timmy and coming through. And we did have that gentleman before when we were in the women's parlor. who was very intimidating. So I don't know if that was the same spirit from the attic or not. Hopefully we'll get some answers when I go over everything. But
Right.
then I guess it was at about midnight or so. We're sitting in the kitchen and we hear what sounded like a cow to us. And we're like, okay, that was weird. And it sounded pretty close. It didn't sound like it was echoing because, the place, there's other houses around, there's a barn across the street, but the houses aren't that close. So, and it's in woods, pasture land. So things could echo, but this wasn't an echo. This sounded like it was right outside the kitchen door. And to me, it sounded like a cow. So we start Googling. We were joking around at first thinking, okay, well, what neighbor's cow escaped? But then we're like, well, it's midnight, so probably not likely. So then I start researching what other animals would sound like cows. And on this one search, it came up with a moose. And I'm like, yeah. So we started doing moose calls, which probably wasn't the brightest thing to do, but hey.
It didn't break into the castle, did it?
What was that?
I said it didn't break into the castle. It didn't
Not
charge
break
get
into
it
the
seen,
castle.
so
No, did not. But we started doing moose calls. I don't know what it was.
Now, you guys do these outside, or was this inside the castle when you guys were doing these moose calls?
We were kind of half and half.
Okay. Because I was going to say, if you did it on the outside, you might have pulled it closer to the castle. If you did it inside, then, then that's a good sign that it didn't do nothing to the castle. Because it would have been like, Linda, how do you explain this?
Well, we were right by the door. We weren't far from the door. And we were doing moose calls. And then we had the bright idea of, okay, maybe we shouldn't do this moose call because we don't want the moose to come barreling through the door because that's another phone call I'm going to have to try to explain to Andy. Yeah, Andy, sorry to call you again. Now we have a moose running through the castle.
Who? I don't even want to picture what his response would be. He'd probably be like, Linda, are you joking?
Linda, there's no drinking.
Are you sure you're seeing a moose? No.
But I don't know what it was. We did not fully go outside to investigate. Honestly, I was still kind of shooken up from the other whole ordeal of the living person. So we did not venture outside to investigate, but we did find out after the fact that for whatever reason, I don't know what spirits, but spirits around or of the castle try to get investigators to go outside. So it could have been them manipulating different sounds to try to get us to go back outside. For what reason, I don't know. We didn't hear any spirits, like voices. We didn't hear any talking at that point telling us to go outside. We didn't go outside. Or our other conclusion, it could have been Bigfoot.
I mean, there's a lot of different mindsets on that. Could have been that. So, honestly, if you guys see nothing out there, we don't know what it is.
Right. So I know it wasn't a fox. I know what foxes sound like. They're around my house all the time. They have this god awful screech. This was not a screech. I know what other animals sound like. It definitely wasn't anything that I've ever heard before besides a cow, but I knew it wasn't a cow because it was a different moo sound, but it was on those lines. So we narrowed it down to 3 things. The spirits wanted us outside for whatever reason. There was a moose, which if there really was a moose, we should have went outside and I would have taken a picture with the moose. I would have wrangled that moose somehow. Or it was Bigfoot. So we probably should have went outside just to see what it was anyway. Because if the spirits wanted us to go outside, maybe they would have given us a message. If it was a moose, I would have gotten a live picture with the moose. If it was Bigfoot, we all would be rich.
Especially you guys, for, having the photo, for having the proof right there.
So, lesson learned. When we go back to the castle, if I hear anything like that, I'll be the first one to run outside.
And you'd be like, all right, we're going to split up. Half of us are going to go this way, half are going to go the other way. And, it's going to be like an episode of Scooby-Doo where, half of us are going to be running scared crapless. The other two are going to be running the opposite direction for a quick second. And then they're going to be running behind you too. It's going to be, it'll be good times.
Everybody grab a camera and a flashlight. Let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, that was our experience this time. So definitely have to go over the recorders, the video cameras, especially being upstairs in the attic, since we were able to investigate that. And just overall, because the castle, we were the first ones to investigate the castle for this season. They literally were opening the next day. We went on a Thursday. They opened on Friday. So the castle was on the quiet side compared to last year. And I think that's because the spirits were so dormant for the winter, because nobody really accesses the castle throughout the winter a lot. And we were the first ones for the season to come in there.
I was going to say to you, it kind of sounds like you and Timmy had more this past trip. I mean, I'm not saying that we didn't have anything happen last time, but it sounds like you guys had more activity this past time compared to the first time when we went. Because the first time when we went, yes, we did have some activity. Yes, we did have some stuff happen, but it wasn't nothing like the way how you're describing a lot more in the sense of it, something might have been trying to get you guys to go outside. You guys were getting more activity on the third floor. When we were there, yeah, it was pretty hot out, so it kind of really pushed us away from going up to the third floor. So we didn't get to investigate the third floor as much as we would have wanted to if it wouldn't have been as hot. But so yeah, it definitely sounds like you guys had a little bit more of a better.
Now, see, I thought opposite, but I guess you're right, because I guess last year when we were there for the first time, I think it was more personal experiences.
Yes.
We didn't have a whole lot of. We had documented, but not a whole lot of documented.
Yes.
This time, yeah, I guess you are right. We did have we had activity, but I guess because it wasn't a lot of personal experiences, it was more equipment-wise this time.
Right. So it's more so stuff that you can document compared to personal. Because when it's personal, it's only you seeing it. Like let's say you see a shadow figure standing right there in the doorway. Well, if you don't have a camera set up, you're not going to see it. It's going to be your own personal experience. And if it's only, let's say you and Timmy, you guys are going to be the only ones seeing it. Nobody else is going to be able to say, hey, yeah, we were able to see that too, unless if, whoever else sees it with you guys.
Yeah, so I guess you are right. We did have more documented activity. I mean, last year when we went, in the women's parlor, we had equipment going off.
Yep.
But yeah, this time we had more equipment going off in different areas.
Yeah, I know when we were there last year, I know it was really, really, really awesome to see, and it was awesome to investigate. Like how Linda said, it was more of a personal experience last year than it was by the time from this year, despite the fact of we didn't get to go up there this year. It was just Linda, like we said earlier. But yeah, hopefully we get to go up there again in the very near future. Hopefully sometime in the next year or two. That would be awesome to just go back up there and investigate. So
Yeah, I know Timmy will definitely want to go back. He's, for whatever reason, drawn to the castle, and especially Lois. Him and Lois Wilson have a connection. She was coming to him in his dreams prior to us going up there, and that was kind of awesome, but weird for him. And this time we did find some more stuff to do. So we did. If you're up in the Vermont area and up near like Rutland, Proctor area, definitely check out the castle. You can do your own investigation, or you can just take a day tour. No reservation for the day tour needed. Obviously, if you want to do your own paranormal investigation, you do need to set that up prior to. But there is a marble carving studio that's not that far. Unfortunately, everywhere pretty much in the area, you have to drive. It is a lot of driving.
that it is.
Lot of driving. But you're
That
not
it
too far from New Hampshire.
Mm-mm.
We were actually in New Hampshire and didn't know it.
And you're also not far from here.
New York. Yeah.
Mm.
But there
all,
is
all five. Was it all? I'm sorry, I'm thinking of like the Northeastern. I'm trying to think of how many states are up there. I know it's, what was it? Maine, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut.
Yeah, but you can't hit all
So
that where we were.
no. I know. I mean, from there you can hit New York, New Hampshire. Then if you go up to Rhode Island, you can hit, which is crazy to think of. If you go over to Rhode Island, you can hit almost all of them. The only one that you can't really hit is Vermont, but you can hit Connecticut, Maine, and New Hampshire when you're in Rhode Island, because it's like they're one's north, one's right here, one's down here. It's kind of like blocking it in, kind of. If I'm not mistaken, that's how it is on the map. But no, I was just trying to think of what other ones you guys would have been able to go up to. Yeah, it's just crazy how you could just drive through one and you touch you see the sign, hey, welcome to whatever state is, New Hampshire or Maine or Vermont. It's just crazy how they're so close together. You just drive right in and just drive right back out.
Yeah, there was no sign saying welcome to New Hampshire, but apparently we were in New Hampshire for a hot minute. Literally a hot minute. It was to turn around. But we found this marble carving studio where you literally can park on the side of the road or in this gravel, I guess, parking lot. And if there's any artists there, you can go and watch them carve marble, which there was one there when we were there, but we didn't want to disturb him, so we didn't go and watch what he was doing. But it's just this field with different paths, and you can walk the whole thing. Nobody disturbs you, nobody bothers you, and you can see this amazing pieces of carved marble. I mean, there's like people profiles, heads, chairs, these like hanging flowers that we weren't quite sure if they were real or marble, but each piece has its own description of what it is and who it was made by. And you just go and walk these different paths and go and explore all these marble pieces. You don't need to check in. We didn't check in with anybody. I don't know if you can go there late at night. We went during the day. It didn't say if it was open, closed, or anything of that nature. But we were told by locals that, hey, go check this out. You won't have any issues. And then we walked this other path and we came to this crane and this like pond sort of, that I wouldn't go swimming in it because it has metal and sculptures and crane pieces and who knows what. So do not swim in it by any means. But you can go and look at this big marble carved pendulum hanging on this crane over this pond. and it's just something out of the blue. It's there. I don't know how it got there. The person that I talked to, Andy, about, he was telling us about this. He doesn't know how it got there, and he's a local, so not a clue. And then we were heading towards New Hampshire, and we found these little shops. Was it Route 8, Route 3? I don't know. It's one of the major routes that you can't miss. And you just head towards New Hampshire, apparently. The shops were already closed, but it's a cute little setup. And then you'll pass this gorge where you can park at this visitor center and walk the bridge and see this gorge. Or apparently, we didn't know this until after the fact. You can go down these steps and go closer to the actual gorge. And that was pretty neat. And then there's a couple state parks that you can go to, and you can actually walk the trails to the gorge. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and then if you are wanting to investigate Wilson Castle, look into Skeen Manor, Skeen. I'm not sure if there's another E on the end of it or not, but that is in New York. But it is only a half an hour away from Wilson Castle. And that's another place that you can reserve to investigate. We did look into that, but they were already booked. For this year, they only have openings, at least when I talked to Sarah, they only had openings for September and October.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were already fully booked.
So that's one of those things where if you really want to book it, then you got to do it early in the year.
Yeah. So I think next time when we book the castle, I'm going to try to book the manor at the same time, because the castle I usually try to book way before they open.
Right. That'd be the best way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's only a half an hour away.
That's not bad at all.
No. And apparently the manor, you can go and have a daytime tour. I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they also have a tea room. So we were going to check out just the manor itself on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly go into their tea room and see what they were offering for food-wise, just to kind of chill out there and then take a daytime tour. But we overslept since we were up all night at the castle. I think we slept for maybe an hour or so.
Oh,
and then, we investigated, and then we kind of set up camp in the main area. And then we slept for an hour or so, give or take, and then we got back up and investigated some more.
Nice.
Yeah. But at least we found different things to do this time. And we stayed in a different area. Our hotel our hotel was basically in town.
Okay.
Instead of, which I'm glad that we did that, because where we both stayed,
mm-hmm.
I know you stayed down the street from us from where we were last year. They were tearing that whole place up.
Oh, really?
They were doing reconstruction and rebuilding and re-maintenance. I don't know if you guys went up to that adventure park.
No.
That was up the road from the hotels.
No, we've seen it up there, but we didn't go up there towards it.
Okay. That was closed this year, and it looked like they were redoing half of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that whole area was under construction.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad we stayed in town this time. Yeah, there was more things like the in town itself. You still had to drive, like when we were finding food and stuff, we still had to drive, but it wasn't far.
Gotcha, which again isn't bad though.
No. No, but anything sightseeing wise, you definitely have to drive far.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah,
so
that was pretty much our experience. I'll be going over the evidence probably the weekend, maybe next week, since I have a downtime from work. I'm on a 2-week hiatus before summer school starts back up. So hopefully I'll be able to get through all the evidence and start posting it on the page. So definitely follow Light Within the Paranormal, Light Within the Unknown, Dixieland Mystical Society, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And yeah, we're going to be having other lives or other episodes coming out. And we have 2 investigations already on the books for August and September, and looking into a few more.
absolutely. So, thank you everybody for tuning in and for listening to this episode. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple, please make sure you hit the follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. And again, we will talk to you guys on the next one. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for listening and watching. Catch you on the next episode.
See y'all.